Welcome to the Thrill of Driving podcast. Now, we apologize, we haven't been on air for the past 2-3 weeks after the Auto Expo, and that's because we have been traveling, which actually is not a very good thing.
We shouldn't have been doing that.
Yeah. So, this episode of the Thrill of Driving podcast is all about the coronavirus.
Dun, 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 dun.
Yeah. So, now no more traveling. We're all sitting in office like good boys. So, if you have any topics that we should be talking about, we can do 2, 3, 4 podcasts every week.
Yeah, or just hit us up on Twitter, man. Just like at Whatish, at what are you?
At Sirish Chandran,
Yeah,
or
or-
at Evo India, our mother handle. So let us know what you want us to be blabbering about, and we have all the time in the world to blabber away. We got the Harrier drives. We are filming this. What is today?
On the eve of the Harrier drives.
On the eve of the Harrier drive. Today is the Thursday, so
Yeah.
I'm rushing to, and luckily for us, it's happening in Pune, so I'm not
Yeah.
taking a flight anywhere.
That's why he's so dressed up. Otherwise, he normally in his t-shirt
so
and all.
I'm
No?
dressed up for the Harrier press conference. So tomorrow we are driving the Harrier. As of now, on Monday, we are driving the Honda City.
Yeah.
The all-new Honda City, 5th generation in India, 7th generation worldwide.
But that's
as of
subject
now,
to the event going ahead. Things are
that's
getting
subject to,
cancelled.
yeah, that's true.
Just before we started recording this, I saw an Instagram update on Lando Norris's page saying McLaren's pulled out of the F1 race this weekend.
Yeah, so if
So-
McLaren pulls out of the Formula One race in Australia, the season opening Formula One race, I do not think Formula One will go ahead.
Yeah.
You can't run with no McLaren. Ferrari, the guys are all there in Australia,
Yeah.
but they have come from the heart of where this coronavirus pandemic has been happening in Italy. And honestly, this has now hit everything.
Yeah.
It's hit regular life. It's hit all travel. In fact, I was going to be in Spain twice this month. I was supposed to be in Greece.
Yeah.
This month itself, I was supposed to be in Spain twice and in Greece.
Yeah.
All of it is cancelled. Next
the
month, I
government's
was supposed to
banned-
be in France.
Yeah.
That's definitely cancelled. And I'm not going because if you're coming back from Germany, for instance,
Correct.
you will be in 14 days quarantine.
Correct.
No way in hell am I
You should
sitting
go,
in
yeah. You'll
quarantine.
get 14 days off. from
14
work.
days
No boss.
chutti. Yeah. Don't worry. You guys are self-motivated. You all will work harder. If the
I
boss
think
is
I'll
not
only
there,
go
you all will
abroad
do
so I
it.
can self-quarantine myself and
Yeah.
not get work.
Adish, this is not a job. You're getting paid for your hobby.
That's true.
You
That's
know,
true.
the guys looking at this, they're looking at you. You're driving. What did you drive last month? You drove the AMG GT63S AMG 4-door coupe.
You also messed up the name.
Yeah, okay, even I messed up the name, but you drove that car. You drove
I
a,
did.
500, 600
You
horsepower
can't
4-door
complain.
car, and you're complaining
I'm not complaining.
about wanting to sit at home.
I'm
You'll
not
sit at home and do what? Come on, Atish.
Probably watch car videos only, yeah.
And then you'll want to drive a car, but then you're in quarantine, so you can't drive a car. So what are you going to do then?
That's true.
Yeah. So would you like a shovel?
No.
Yeah. And we're going to talk about a car that has a shovel on the engine bay, but we'll come to that in a bit.
Much later.
Yeah.
But first, let's talk about this. So this is a release from CM. Why don't you read it out?
Yeah, so this release came from the CM, which is the Society of Indian Automobile Manufacturers, on the impact of the coronavirus in India, in the Indian automobile industry. So Rajan Vadera, who's the president of the CM, he said that 10% of raw materials for the Indian automotive industry comes from China. And the disruption is going to critically hamper production across all segments, namely passenger vehicles, commercial vehicles, three-wheelers, two-wheelers, and this is in quotes, gravely affecting electric vehicles. Because obviously electric vehicles, your batteries, your...
A lot of times the motors.
The
also.
motors, controllers, everything comes from China.
And if in case of some of the bikes, the entire bike.
Yeah, true. The entire bike. You put MRF tires on it and you call it an Indian bike, right? So electric vehicles, it's going to really get affected.
Yeah.
The supply, though from everything that we read, the epidemic is somewhat in control in China, and now it is
It's Europe and America that's out of hand.
Exactly. It's a good thing now. The Indian government is really taking proactive steps. They're quarantining people coming from all these countries. There's thermal scanning going on at all the international airports. Though, by that said, I thought that Indian domestic travel would have reduced, but that shows no sign of reducing.
Because prices probably plummeted.
Yeah, I was in Delhi for what event? Yeah, this last weekend I was in Delhi for the Cannonball Club, the Supercar Track Day at the BIC. On the way back, again 45 minutes at the security check queue at the Delhi airport. So people are traveling domestically, but I guess international travel has all been curtailed.
I have a feeling that this is going to also slow down because there are cases being picked up every day in India, and
True,
it's only going to exponentially increase.
Now the holidays are kicking in, so nobody wants the kids at home, right?
I mean, but you don't want to.
Yeah,
I'm
but
not going
you
to
don't
say
want-
something
so-
extremely
so-
morbid right now, but
So I don't know what's going to happen, and there are two ways of looking at this. I say that no, you continue with life, because now if you start moaning about the coronavirus, as it is, the economy is not in the best of shape. So it just adds up, right? And then by the end of 2 months, you'll be like sitting at home with F all to do, and that will be even worse. That will be like the bottom of the barrel. You're fucked.
yeah.
Yeah.
Or you could sit at home but then there could be no employees left also.
Exactly. So I don't know. Honestly, there is no right or wrong answer. Yeah. I'm going for the Harrier drive. A lot of my peers aren't coming for it because they don't want to. Yeah, they don't want to travel. Okay. I'm driving to Goa for the city.
Best, safest.
But I'm driving because I hate Goa airport. I hate the bloody lines. I hate the chaos. Yeah. I rather drive 8 hours in my lovely long-term Tiguan. It's still the old diesel.
Yeah. So but it has a 120 kilometer buzzer. So.
It's got an 80, it goes bung, and then 120 it goes dung dung dung. Yeah. But still, that's far better than going through that bloody Goa airport. So that's why I'm driving. So, well, I think life should go on, but I guess everybody needs to decide for themselves.
Something
if
else,
they think that no, it's not right, don't travel. Yeah. If they think it's okay, travel. So everybody needs to decide for themselves. So anyway, that's the impact of the coronavirus on the Indian industry.
The coronavirus affected was Geneva, you know.
Yeah, so the Geneva show has not been cancelled ever since it started, which I think was in the 30s or 20s or something like that, except for the World Wars.
Right.
Apart from that, it has never been cancelled. And now, because of the coronavirus, it has been cancelled.
And that just tells you a lot about the scale of the virus. It was also done because where the show is held is not too far away from the Italian border.
From northern Italy, where the whole issue has happened.
With the epicenter in Europe.
So the Swiss government banned gatherings of more than 1,000 people. So obviously the show had to be cancelled because there are more than 1,000 just exhibitors out there.
Yeah. But we've got a list of all the cars, the cool cars that we think should be spoken about. And we're going to walk you...
Yeah, so these are the cars that were going to be shown at the Geneva Motor Show. But obviously, because the show did not happen, so they were released online.
Yeah, so a lot of digital launches which are happening online. In fact, even in India, I think that's going to take place over the next few...
It might. Yeah. Who knows?
A lot of people already... Ducati's already been doing digital launches for a while.
Yeah, Ducati has been doing... so BMW did that. So BMW cancelled their national launch of the X1.
Correct, yeah.
It was supposed to happen in Chennai. They cancelled that. And Rudy, the Rudratej Singh, he did a digital launch of the X1. So, good prices for the X1.
Yeah. And think about it, actually, a digital launch makes a lot of sense. Apart from the fact that we don't get to interact with the big guys at the company as media people, the word still gets out. We're still covering it.
True.
And everyone saves a lot of money and time.
So the thing with me about a digital launch is great because I don't have to travel. And we are not bookhoods for travel because we travel so much. We rather be in the office or be at home. But when you don't go for a launch, when you don't meet the people behind the car, you don't get those inside stories. Yes. And for us as journalists, we don't do press release stories.
Correct.
We don't regurgitate press releases. We go out, we talk to the people, we keep our ear to the ground, and we bring you stories that you would be interested in. Like what's going to come later on? How did this engine get developed? How closely is this car related to the... So for instance, how closely is the Creta related to the Seltos? Is it any different or is it just a styling makeover of the Seltos? In a digital press conference, balls are going to make out anything. But when you go there, talk to the people, somebody does slip. And we know enough people and we know ways and means of getting people to slip. So that's where we bring you those stories.
And I mean, they do have these digital Q&As, but you're never going to be able to cross-question and cross-examine somebody over
I posted
Twitter.
A question for the X1 digital launch about will the X1 get a manual gearbox and will it get all-wheel drive? No, nobody answered.
Exactly. So there's no accountability here.
So nobody answered that,
so this is probably the only drawback that I can think of. And it's a pretty big drawback. It's a big drawback, to be fair. Anyway, back to the point. The cars at Geneva. I think we'll start with the coolest, most relevant one for India. That was the Octavia RS IV.
Yeah. So I is for what? Electric? Hybrid? What is it?
IV is, they mean it's a hybrid.
So it's a hybrid?
So what they're doing is they're downsizing the motor. It's now going to have a 1.4 TSI motor.
Okay.
It's going to have some sort of electric drivetrain integrated into it. 242 horsepower. So it's not really ramping up the power in that sense. Even the performance, it's not going to ramp it up too much. It's 0 to 100 is 7.3 seconds, which is actually slower than the Octavia 245, which is on sale in India right now. But I think it's a bold step from Skoda to take the RS in the hybrid direction.
Fair enough. I've always been a fan of hybrids. In fact, if you look at my Twitter feed, there was a big war between EV enthusiasts. So I had posted something saying that no, hybrids is a great in-between step until we go fully electric.
Completely
now,
agree.
I drive an electric car every day. I drive the Kona electric every day. Right now, it is charging in our parking lot. And I think an electric car for daily commuting is awesome.
Correct.
So don't get me wrong on that. But I think that also electric cars are too expensive. Nobody's going to buy an electric car right now at that kind of prices. So if hybrids start off, you save on emissions, you save on fuel, on the amount of fuel, you save on noise and everything. In fact, the Toyota guys claim that a Camry hybrid, 60% of its time is running on the electric powertrain. So it's a zero emission vehicle 60% of the time, which is a great thing, right? So if you move to plug-in hybrids or just plain hybrids, so say like a Swift, for instance, which is the mass market car. If you have the Swift hybrid, the amount of emissions definitely reduce.
You say Swift. I was actually talking to the Maruti guys at the Brezza launch, and they said this is their plan of attack for approaching this low emission whole drive. So they're not going straight into EVs like a lot of like Tata or Mahindra are doing. What they're going to focus on is the rest of the vehicle. So while EVs take time and their numbers are going to build up gradually, there's still going to be a bulk of internal combustion engine cars. So their goal is to reduce the emissions from those cars with hybrid technology.
Which is fair enough.
Yeah, exactly.
But then the amount of flack that I got, and the Tesla Club of India, they're very active, and hats off to these guys. They did an actual story rebutting whatever I put out. Now, I put out facts and figures that I got when I visited Toyota. Toyota is not a company that is known for fudging things. So those facts and figures can be taken at face value. And they put out a whole thing rebutting those claims. Now, the thing is that there is so much of information available online that if you want to look only for positive stuff on IC engines, you will find it. Positive stuff purely on electric vehicles, you will find it. So it depends on what you are...
information.
Exactly. It depends on what you are reading and what sources of information you are consuming. But I honestly believe, and having been in the industry for quite a bit of time, that hybrids is a great way to bridge that gap, because full electrics is going to take time.
I think while electrics happen parallelly, you shouldn't be ignoring hybrids. I think they should be happening parallelly, especially since India is very nascent with its hybrid scene.
And give hybrids the same kind of GST incentives that you're giving electrics.
Correct.
Don't give IC engines any incentives, but why do you
and maybe stagger
hybrids?
them? So maybe stagger them. So you say a mild hybrid doesn't qualify because it's the most basic thing. You don't have to do much engineering to get a mild hybrid into your car. But a proper hybrid like a Camry or a plug-in hybrid like a lot of the German car makers should get good incentives, because they're actually very, very fuel efficient cars.
And the thing is, we are not taxi operators, right? So if I buy an electric car today, I can't get those FAME 2 incentives. Which is crazy. So suppose if I want to buy the eKUV 100 that Mahindra has launched at the Auto Expo, and deliveries should start soon, but now coronavirus, so supplies from China have slowed things down. I will not get any incentives, which is ridiculous. Why do you not want me to move towards electric cars? What is the logic behind it? It makes no sense. So if you want only fleet operators to move to electrics, then just say it out. No, say that only Olas and only Ubers and only those taxi guys will get incentives. So fair enough. Then we know how to go about things, right?
And then the products that come in will be geared towards those guys, and not. It's just. It makes so much difference when there's this clarity as to what the...
Policy clarity, that's what we need. So anyway, we digressed.
Back to Geneva. The McLaren 765 LT. It's confusing because the old one was the 675 LT.
So
the 765.
I would rather have names like a Ferrari Roma. I know what that car is. So now when you say Roma, there's a picture of that car in my head. Now with this 600, 675, 765, LT, no LT, I don't have a picture. I have a general picture of a McLaren in my head, which is like the Senna. The Senna that they had. But that's it. Now, this is a little confusing, to be honest.
Fair enough.
But the car looks awesome and the specs are crazy.
And it spits flames.
Spits flames. McLaren is doing all this. So all their press shots are all sideways shots on a racetrack. Flames spitting out. Cool imagery. The kid in me, wow. It just goes, wow.
I was watching a video, I think it was Carfection's video, and they had one of the McLaren PR guys talk to them about the car. And there's actually a cut in the spoiler near where the exhaust is. And they call it for thermal management or something like that. And they were like, you mean it spits flames and this is so that you don't burn your spoiler? But basically it's that. This car actually spits legit flames.
The other car that spits flames, which was going to be showcased at Geneva, was the Alfa Romeo Giulia.
Yeah.
The GTA.
The GTA
So
version.
again, the press shots for that.
Yeah.
The car sideways on a racetrack,
Fire.
flames spitting out,
Yeah.
and a big ass spoiler on the rear
That
lid.
thing looks gorgeous.
That's amazing. I think you put a wing on any car,
Yeah.
you make it,
Yeah.
you give it 50 horsepower,
Yeah.
straight up.
And the Giulia is actually a more, track-focused version of the Quadrifoglio, which is already the high-performance version of the Giulia.
Which means fuck all for us in India because we don't have Alfa Romeo. So
But it's still a cool car.
It's a cool car. So you look at pictures and all that,
when you're
and you're
looking
never
at-
going to look at it, and never going to see it on the road.
But think about it. It's like, imagine E63 stripped out, roll cage, bucket seats. How cool is that?
Awesome. It is really cool. I love it. I grew up in the era when you had the Lancer, the regular diesel Lancer. Then you had the SFX kit on it, which had those spoilers and skirts. Oh man, that car looked so cool.
That's why he runs a magazine called Evo now. Huh?
Yeah. To me, an Evo with a big wing on it, that is the ultimate cool car.
It is,
You
it
put
is.
a wing on anything, it makes the car quicker. I had a Zen, I put big wings on it, big wheels on it. The Zen looks ridiculous with the spoiler, so we never put a spoiler on it. But all these go faster things work for me. I'm a child that way, honestly.
Speaking of fast cars with 4 seats, the Koenigsegg Gemera. What the hell is going on there?
Well done, huh? You could pronounce that. The
Gemera, yeah. Koenigsegg.
Koenigsegg. Ridiculous. Man.
Insane.
And that's the great thing. It is insane, but that is what cars are about.
So just
you need to
like-
dream.
Yeah.
You need
for
to have
sure.
aspiration. You need to have some shit on your wall.
But I'll tell you what, I was sitting behind you in the AMG GT63, another fast 4-door. That thing has 600 horsepower.
Yeah.
I couldn't take it. I got nauseous. Okay.
So after that, we did a film with Shana Parameshwar. She's on a video which will drop next week. She drove the car. I thought I'd be a gentleman and say, okay, I was driving it and I'd say, okay, would you like to drive it? And she drives fast cars. She drives the GT3.
She races.
So she races. And so obviously she has car control. And I shat my load. I know she can handle a car, but oh God, I couldn't handle it.
But listen, that's 600 horsepower. This thing is 1700 horsepower.
Yeah,
So, imagine your kids in the back, you're gonna like...
you feed your kids titanium tablets so that it lines their inners.
It's gonna be insane.
It's insane.
But this thing also actually has some very cool technology. So it has a 2-liter engine.
A 2-liter engine,
3-cylinder.
3-cylinder engine with 3 turbochargers.
How much horsepower does it make?
Okay, come on, let's look at the spec sheet that you have
600
there.
horsepower from a 2-liter 3-cylinder motor.
Yeah. So you boosted to the skies.
That's insane.
This is what those Formula 1 cars back in the 80s when they had the turbo cars, the Renault teapot they used to call it because it used to keep blowing its head. Those used to make 1100 horsepower in qualifying trim. Those were mad. Those Can-Am cars, the horsepower that used to make in turbo trim. So you can get a lot of power out of turbo cars. How you manage it, how do you deal with turbo lag, that is all modern technology taking care of it.
And now with electric motors to use torque fill and all of that. You know,
so torque filling the whole power band.
And then torque vectoring.
So you can sort out all of these things. For me, just these crazy cars with crazy numbers, it makes zero sense. But it's just so cool. That is what fuels your interest in automobiles. Something like the Pininfarina Special Edition. That does not excite me.
That's true.
And that's why it's not even in our list.
Yeah.
Because nobody's driven the regular non-special edition Pininfarina Battista. And now there's a special edition of the Battista. And I don't know what the hell is going on over there.
delivering.
So when you have people talking about it, when you have magazines like Evo India writing about it.
Okay, so another cool car. Actually, speaking of special editions, the Chiron's come out with a special edition again.
Okay,
So
now
this is the Chiron, the spelled PUR, but I'm guessing it's the Pure Sport, and it's a handling focused Chiron. Again, doesn't
I think
excite
the
you.
Veyron was great,
Yeah.
but now after the Veyron, the Chiron is just milking it, right?
You really think so? I think the
don't know,
special
it's
edition Chirons are milking it. I think the Chiron has some legit cool value.
Yeah, it's stupid, no? What I'm saying, because I'm saying this Koenigsegg, oh wow, and then now a Chiron Pure Sport, oh no.
But I don't think so because the
But I guess
Pure
it
Sport
does not rock my boat.
Yeah,
honestly.
because I mean, see, it's just got some tweaked aero and some weight saving and all. So it's not a
and
new
it's just
car.
made for collectors to buy the car and park it in their air-conditioned, climate-controlled garages. You don't see the guys driving it really, do you? Whereas with the GT2 RS, for instance, this Cannonball Club event that I went for, the Supercar weekend, in India, you have a GT2 RS with a Manthi racing kit. So guys who are buying these GT cars, and any track day in India
Anti
today
Racing
is
won the GT class at Le Mans or something?
at Nürburgring 24 hours. They win a shitload of stuff.
Nürburgring, correct.
In India, there is so much of demand for GT cars that they have more demand than supply. So GT cars are allocated to collectors. You got to go and you got to tell Porsche months or maybe years in advance bro, please give me a car, give me a GT car, take my money, bro, paisa le. And then Porsche will say, bro, paisa nahi chahiye aapka, because it's already been allocated. It's crazy, right? But that is the interest in Porsche GT cars in the country. And these guys are using the cars. Imagine this guy who owns the GT2 RS, the Manthi Racing. He's taken that very same car to Europe, and he's done 8 tracks in Europe. He's done track days in Europe. He's done track days at the Nürburgring Nordschleife, at the Spa, at Hockenheim.
Wow.
Crazy guy.
Yeah.
Enthusiastic
if you
to
have the
a
money,
fault.
just do it.
He did the first day at this Cannonball track day. Obviously, he gassed his tires. He picked up another set of tires from Pirelli, who were there supplying tires. Gassed that tires also the second day. And he's driving. He's learning from guys like Aditya Patel and Kartik Tharani Singh, pro racers, on how to get more and more out of the car. There was a GT2 RS, a regular GT2 RS. There was a GT3, and the GT3 looked regular compared to, you're seeing two RSs, and then you're seeing a GT3, and then you're not even looking at the GT3. There were tons of Porsches. It's like a Porsche track day. There were 2 M2 competitions. There was an AMG GTR. And these guys driving their hearts out. They're not gunning for lap times, but they're all pushing themselves to reduce tenths from their own lap times. The point I'm trying to make, in India, now, for the most part, guys are not buying these cars just to show it off on a weekend. They're driving these cars. They're taking it to the racetrack. They're using up their tires.
The culture is building.
The culture is building. And this is across the board. Ferraris, Lamborghinis, all of them. Though Porsche is the Porsche guys, the Porsche enthusiasts, they are another level altogether. Plus the car, plus the car, it can take all of that. It's not like after a track day you have to change your pads or you have to change your disc. Nothing. You can drive it to the track, drive it back, drive it at the track, and drive it back. So that's the cool thing. Again, we digressed because this is the digressing podcast.
Okay, next collector's edition car which you're going to lambaste is the Aston Martin V12 Speedster.
Do we really want to talk about it? Okay, let's go through the specs.
700 horsepower, only 88 will be built.
Okay.
But I think it's a cool concept. I think they're following in the line of what Ferrari did with the SP1, SP2. They're taking a regular car and doing it over with like a coach building sort of thing.
So the Ferrari, that Monza that you're talking about, I'm not a fan of it.
Why?
It's just flogging the same horse.
I think to have a Ferrari V12 in a car that looks like that, my God, why would you not like it?
It's not special. It is the same. The underpinnings, it's all the same. So there's nothing really to it. It's a style job.
So what?
It's like you're going to DC ka baap, right? And you're saying, boss, bana gadi.
But what's wrong with a good-looking car?
Yeah, there's nothing wrong with a good-looking car. But the standard car itself is good-looking.
But this is much more special-looking.
Yeah, but that special look has to be followed with or backed up by a special underpinning.
I mean,
it has to drive like mad. It has to.
Pretty sure
it has
Ferrari
to up
V12.
the stakes. No, over a regular Ferrari V12, right? Over an 812 Superfast, it needs to up the stakes. These are not upping the stakes. With a speedster also, is it upping the stakes?
It's not.
Not really.
Yeah.
It is basically you've knocked the roof off. But you've got a beautiful styling job, and it is genuinely beautiful. It is stunning. All the Aston Martins today are stunning. But underlying that, there's nothing stunning.
Okay. Let's agree to disagree. I think it's a great car. Let's talk about something that's actually going to come here now soon. The new E-Class. What do you think about how it looks?
I think it's better than the current E-Class.
You think so?
I think so because the E-Class right now, it's too familiar. It's too much like the C and too much like the S.
That's true. Yeah, so, that's something I don't like too.
This new... not new exactly, but the updated E-Class. It looks a little different, and it's got a bit of that AMG vibe to it. So little more the flared nostrils and the air dam. So that little more sportiness is coming across, and that's what they're trying to do across the range.
What if they get the new C-Class and S-Class to look like this soon?
What do I say? I don't know what to say. have strong opinions against making all the cars look the same. So like what Audi started off with the A4, A6, A8, all looking the same. I'm not a fan of that. Unfortunately, now one of the guys who do really beautiful cars, JLR, they're also doing that.
Yeah,
the
new
Evoque
Evoque,
and the Velar is great for the Evoque buyer that he's getting a Velar at say 20-30 lakhs off.
Someone who owns a Vela is just going to be like, bruh.
Yeah, what the hell, man? They have got such great form in terms of styling. I don't understand why the Evoque has to look like the Velar.
Yeah, and the Evoque always had its own character.
True.
And now they've gone and diluted that to some
Yeah,
extent.
so it's a beautiful car. It's really a stunning car, that Evoque. The Indian media car, it came with smaller wheels. So that spoils the profile.
Okay.
It needs to have bigger wheels. And if you're buying an Evoque, screw the ride quality, get the bigger wheels. You're buying an Evoque just because of the way it looks. Because otherwise, there is no reason for you to buy an Evoque. Buy the Discovery Sport. It's got more space, it's got better ride quality, blah, 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 blah.
Man, same
but
engine, same
you're
engine.
buying an Evoque because it looks like cool as fuck.
Oh, so now looks matter, huh?
Yeah. So you're buying an Evoque because it looks cool as fuck. So you slap on the big wheels. You grit your teeth.
See, he's contradicting himself within 5 minutes in this podcast.
You grit your teeth, and then when you lock the car, you will turn around, you look at the car, and you say, fuck yeah.
You can do that with a V12 SP1 Monza as well.
Yeah, you can. That's also true.
But I don't think there's any point locking it because somebody can just climb right in. But anyway, back to this. The BMW i4.
Oh, now let's talk about styling. Yeah.
You like it?
Okay, so when the i4 was showcased, the i4 concept, it's not yet the production car, the i4 concept, which it'll look like this, the production car will look like this. I put out a tweet saying that the grille doesn't look half bad. And then obviously all of y'all went berserk and mental at that. But I guess the more and more that I'm looking at these big kidney grills, I'm kind of, I don't know, it's growing on me. I drove the X6 and the X5M in Arizona 3 weeks ago. And that grill is blacked out. The M guys black out the grill.
This X4, the i4 also has a blacked out grill.
Yeah, so I guess because the grill is blacked out, it didn't look so in your face. And I thought the cars looked quite good. I, in fact, preferred the X5M to the X6M.
But this is, again, you looking at things in America when there are those bloody huge pickup trucks next to them.
True.
So bring them here and then we'll see.
Yeah, but this i4, I don't know. The majority opinion across social media is...
Question. Electric cars don't even need grills.
True. They don't need the damn cooling.
Then why?
But you need to make an electric car look different from the other. They're all going to drive the same, right? So the only differentiating factor is going to be your interior ambience and the outside styling. So that needs to be different. I guess that's the only reason.
Would you think the next M3 will look like this? The next...
Of course, all the BMWs are getting enlarged nostrils, so the kidneys are becoming taller and wider and getting stretched, and basically it's a kidney coming at you, or two kidneys coming at you. So you just get out of the way of the kidneys.
Sometimes one joined in the middle.
Sometimes joined in the middle also. So it's just kidneys, the assault of the kidneys. I'm sure it'll drive well. With electric cars, they generally all drive really well because it's heavy, but it's all low down. So the center of gravity is lower. You can get torque vectoring. You can get all of those electronic trickery to make the car go faster. But you don't get the sound. You don't get the emotion.
BMW is putting fake sound in cars for a long time, so I'm sure they can manage.
But that GT63S 4-door that we drove, that sounds cool, eh?
That sounds really good, man. We've got a video of it revving on our Instagram. Go check it out. Highly recommended.
And there's something on our social media. So check out the Evo India Instagram handle. There's Atish trying to say the name of the car.
Okay, let me just see if I can get it right now. Mercedes-AMG GT63S 4-door coupe. Yeah, there I got it.
Yeah, you got it.
I think after writing the story, it was much easier.
After a month of trying, you've got it. So well done on that.
Thank you. Let's talk about something with a much simpler name, the Porsche 911 Turbo S.
Too cool.
Yeah.
What Porsche does, okay, maybe this is the fanboy in me talking, but fuck that car, man.
Gorgeous it looks, huh?
Gorgeous,
that wing.
Gorgeous. Yeah. So specs.
3.8 litre flat 640 horsepower, 0 to 100 in 2.6 or 2.7 seconds.
Insane, eh?
So here's another car that you're going to be pretty annoyed with. It's called the Bentley Buckle R. Basically a roofless Conti GT with 2 seats. Limited to guess?
I don't know.
Guess.
You tell me.
12 cars.
Again, it's just flogging this, right?
Yeah.
Ferrari started it, honestly. And
no, I don't think so.
Who started it?
I think... I would like to say... I like to think Lamborghini started this with all those special edition
Those
Aventadors.
Reventin and all that.
Reventin.
I don't know. In my head, it's Ferrari that started it. Because Ferrari really put this on the map, and then everybody saw the potential for milking it.
Special editions.
Milking special editions.
Yeah.
Aston does it really well.
Yeah.
In fact, the stuff that they do with the DB4 Zagato, for instance, that is cool.
Yeah.
Right? Reimagining the past. What the E-Type, the reimagined E-Type.
Yeah.
That is cool.
Yeah.
Because that has history and heritage and all of that. So there's a backstory to talk about. Bakalar, you tell me. I don't know.
I mean, no opinions there.
Yeah,
really.
if you have got comments, fire away on Twitter, on
they're going to
Instagram.
build 12, so I'm probably never going to see one in my life anyway.
No chance. I don't think anybody's even going to drive it. It's just going to go into collectors' garages.
Yeah.
So if you want to drive it, buy a special edition 911.
Okay, so this is the last car on our Geneva list before we talk about something else that's really cool. The Fiat 500 electric.
I love it. What a cute car.
Yeah.
Now, I don't know about this being only electric because that's limiting your market. Maybe there will be IC engine cars in the foreseeable future.
Yeah.
But such a cute car.
It is.
The 500 is what revived Fiat. That is the time, in fact, Sergio Marchionne, he took the money that came out of the GM divorce because GM had a put option to buy Fiat stake, which they didn't want to buy. So Fiat got the stake back plus cash from General Motors, and that got funneled into developing the 500, which then revived the brand because then that really rocketed sales. They need another 500 because now Fiat is all but non-existent. In India, there's practically there's nothing. There's no Fiat. FCA India is Jeep. So this 500 is not going to come to India because no point talking about Fiat, right? So the powertrain will go into future Jeeps. Smaller Jeeps, bigger Jeeps, whatever. But no Fiat 500 will come to India.
I think it's the right approach. I mean, electric cars are still urban, I think limited to urban spaces, and something like the Fiat 500, tiny footprint, it works for the
Probably,
city. You know?
But it's cute. It's so
it
good.
Is cute.
You want to look at the electric car and you want to be happy. The 500, you look at it and you smile. And it's always been the case.
I look
right
at
from the Cinquecento.
I look at a Ferrari Monza SP1 also and smile.
Yeah, so you'll never smile, right? Because you're never going to see it on the road.
True.
Yeah, so you only get pictures on your phone and you look at it and you smile.
Yeah, just getting at the point that cars need to look cool.
Yeah, but you need to look at it in the flesh.
Yeah, I hope.
Where is it in the flesh?
One day Ferrari museum or something.
Drops a Monza on the streets of Bandra.
Bandra, I wish.
Monza and Bandra.
Only Kalyani Nagar now. But yeah, then so the last topic that we actually decided to talk about in this podcast is something that in the last 2 days we've seen two of them. Off-road 911s. So one is what did we see? We saw the roof.
So the roof rodeo.
Yeah.
Which is not a 911 because that has a bespoke chassis. It's got a carbon fiber bespoke chassis.
Yeah.
It looks like a 911.
They take roof takes inspiration from 911s.
It's inspired by 911s. Like the Singer is more of a 911.
Correct. It's built on a 911 platform.
But the roofs are bespoke.
They're just carbon fiber everything.
Carbon fiber everything and go like hell.
Yeah.
It's so cool. I just love the concept and the idea of an off-roading 911.
Yeah.
It weds two of my favorite things, a 911 and rallying. And a 911 that you can take rallying is such a cool thing.
Insane.
It's so cool. 911s are to be used on tarmac, right?
Yeah.
But if you can take a 911 off-road, and I don't mean off-roading like what a Thar does.
Obviously.
Right? But I mean
fast
on
dirt track.
fast gravel tracks. Now you're sideways in a 911. Oh man.
And to be fair, the 911 has a big rallying history.
It has history, which not too many know about because compared to the racing history, it's nothing. But Walter Roll,
Yes.
right? He drove
SC
at the Monte Carlo rally. Now the Monte Carlo rally is a tarmac rally, and you do in European tarmac rallies, you still do see a lot of Porsches because they do work very well on tarmac. But off-roading, the 911 went to the Safari rally. The 959, which is not exactly a 911,
but it was
inspired.
An evolution of that platform, wasn't it?
Evolution. That went to the Dakar. That won the Dakar. That Rothmans livery. Such a cool car. That was Porsche's supercar back in the day. So the 911s have got history. They have been rallied. And a 911 that goes rallying.
When I was
this morning, the Gembala. Is that right? The pronunciation? Or Gembala?
Gembala.
Whatever. The Avalanche. That also looks so cool.
And that one's really jacked up with fat tires. And
then you pointed out to me about the Baja. The Baja
when
911 which you saw.
I was at the PRI show in the US. They actually had TJ Russell with his Baja 911 on display over there.
So what is the Baja 911?
So basically, he's taken an old 911 chassis. I think it's a 964. I can't remember too clearly, and he's done everything to it. So he's reworked suspension, strengthened the chassis. He's done the interior so beautifully. So you've got this quilted leather everywhere. So it's really nicely done on the inside, but on the outside, it's a beast. And you see these photos of the Baja 911 like sideways, three wheels, and I don't know who's driving. If he's driving, hats off to him. But it's
and which
insane
wheel is in the air?
The front wheels, obviously.
So that's the cool thing about 911. So all the really hard driving shots, the fast driving shots that you see of the 911, even if it's not sideways, it's the inside front wheel that lifts. That's the only car in the world where in hard cornering
Except
shots,
for probably a G-Wagon.
G-Wagon, then the next shot is you're on your side. But in a 911, a proper cornering shot, you see the inside front wheel in the air. And that is the cool thing about the 911 because it squats at the rear and gets you this mad traction at the rear, the mad grip at the rear. And now 911s don't spin and go into the hedges because there's just so much of electronics that save you from yourself. So it is a physics-defying car. And that's the cool thing about 911s. Now, if you think a 911 should go rallying, if you think a 911 should hit dirt tracks, hit us on the comments. Let us know what you think. If you want to build one, maybe we should speak to our friends at Racetech. Maybe they can get a kit and try out a 911 build. So convert a 911 to an off-road spec. It'll work superbly on our Indian roads. So imagine an off-roading 911 work in Bombay. It's brilliant. You can use it in the rain. You can use it everywhere. You put a shovel on the back. You put extra tires.
Put 4 lamps in the front.
4 lamps. What a cool thing to use. You get full respect. You'll get more respect than maybe a GT2 RS or no?
In Bombay though for sure. Not on the racetrack, but in Bombay.
And you can use it. You'll be completely usable. So if you're thinking of that, hit us up. Let us know what you think. Let us know what you think about the podcast.
And we've done one after a while, I think.
And if you want us to talk about some other subjects, we're all here. We're sitting in the office. It's coronavirus time. So
shouldn't be smiling.
Come on, we still have nice cars.
That's true.
So at least knock on wood, we still doing what we love doing. Also, the last thing before we end, we got 2 weeks left for BS4 to BS6.
Discount.
And it is discount time, especially if you're looking for bikes. Now, 790 Duke. What was it that we read recently?
6.5 lakhs on road?
6.5 lakhs or 6.9 lakhs on the road for a 790 Duke. I'm sure there are other big bikes that are there. I got 3 on my list. I'm deciding between the 3. What do I get?
And you're not going to tell us because you don't want us grabbing those bikes before you do, no?
That's also true. So 3 weeks to decide and buy a bike for myself. So you should also look out. Speak to your local Ducati, Triumph, BMW Motorrad.
Maybe even Royal Enfield. Check if there's an Interceptor on discount.
Maybe. I doubt that because the mass market guys have all transition. But it's all the big bikes. Kawasaki's, boss. Look at Kawasaki's. You'll get a ekdam, Chakas deal. Chakas deal. So let us know what bike you finally pick up on the 1st of April. What bike do you have? Send us a picture. Hit us up on Instagram at Evo India, on Twitter
and
at
thank
Evo
us
India.
For the discount.
And thank us for the tip, for the hat tip, not for the discount. Discount, go and burn some more fuel. Also, great time. Saudi Arabia and Russia are going hammer and tongs at each other in an all-out oil price war. Last when we checked, this morning, oil prices were down to $31 a barrel. From 65. It used to be over 100. So it's great times for our government because prices of our petrol and diesel have dropped by 1 rupee. So the government is milking it. So good. Hopefully things should filter down. Maybe we'll get better roads. God knows what. So let's hope. We can always hope for the good stuff, right? And on that note, before Atish gets into his politics, we'll cut this podcast. I hope you've enjoyed listening to the Thrill of Driving podcast. Let us know what you think about it. Hit us up in the comments. Like, subscribe, share, and we'll catch you definitely next week because we are here and we are all quarantined against the coronavirus. Thank you for watching. Thank you for listening, and catch you soon. Subscribe to the Evo India channel and hit the bell icon to keep pace with the thrill of driving.